Hi, parents, and welcome to the Parent Guide, helping your teen overcome pornography addiction. I am your host, Matt Bulkley, a psychotherapist with many years of experience working with teens and families navigating tough challenges like pornography addiction. And if you're a parent feeling overwhelmed and confused, or just looking for practical ways to support your teen, you are in the right place. This podcast is all about equipping you with tools, insights, and hope to guide your family through recovery. And thanks for joining me today. I know your time is valuable, and I hope you find this helpful. Today, we're tackling a topic that's often overlooked, but absolutely crucial, and that is self-deception and its role in pornography addiction. We'll explore how it acts like a sneaky reality filter in your teen's mind, keeping them stuck in harmful cycles. So stick with me over the next 30 minutes, and I'll break it down, what it is, why it happens, and give real life examples, teen common cognitive distortions or thinking errors, as we call them, that fuel it, and most importantly, strategies to help your teen overcome it. Plus, I'll share some expanded insights from recent studies and personal stories from my practice to give you even more depth. And by the end, you'll have a solid game plan to foster open conversations and real change. And if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening, so you don't miss out on weekly episodes. And remember to check out the resources at therapyassociates.net, especially the Recovery Toolbox for Teens. Go to therapyassociates.net, go to the bookstore link in the bookstore. The Recovery Toolbox for Teens is the blue toolbox. Includes the Breaking Free workbook, the Parent Guide, and the 101 Tips for Quitting Porn. And also dive into 200 articles, research, and strategies on the resources link at the same website, therapyassociates.net. All right, well, let's dive in. So first up, what exactly is a reality filter, and how does it tie into pornography addiction? Well, imagine those fun filters on Snapchat or Instagram that your teen uses to smooth out their skin or add dog ears or make everything sparkle. A reality filter is similar, but it's happening inside their brain. It's when they tweak or distort the truth to make it fit what they want to believe, even if it's not accurate. This helps them avoid uncomfortable emotions or realities. For instance, think about a teen who maybe gets ghosted by a friend. They might say out loud, "Well, I'm fine, it doesn't bother me." But inside, they're obsessively checking that friend's social media every few minutes. Or after bombing a test, maybe they claim, "Well, I don't care," while replaying the failure in their head all night long. So it's a mental defense mechanism to dodge pain or stress or shame. Now apply this to pornography addiction. It often starts innocently. Maybe they're bored scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, and they stumble upon something provocative in the feed, and their brain whispers, "Well, it's just this once, no big deal." That's self-deception kicking in, acting like a hype man, feeding them lies. And they convince themselves, "Well, I'm in control, it's harmless." But that dopamine rush, that same thrill as winning a video game, makes it feel rewarding, turning that one time into a habit. And over time, the distortions grow. And they might think, "Well, I can stop whenever I want," or "It's not affecting anybody else," even as it's disrupting their sleep and taking their grades and straining friendships or making them feel isolated. Self-deception is the ultimate con artist. It transforms a fleeting curiosity into an entrenched cycle. And from my years in therapy, I've seen this play out many times. One teen that I worked with, I'll call him Alex, started just checking out some links after a stressful day at school, and his reality filter told him that it was just a quick escape. But soon it was every night, and he was lying to himself about why he couldn't focus on homework. Research backs this up. A 2021 study in cognitive psychology explains self-deception is the brain's way of reducing cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable tension when actions don't match values. But in addiction, it backfires, keeping teens trapped. 2020 report from the Journal of Behavioral Addictions found that teens who engage in early self-deception, like denying it's a habit, are twice as likely to deepen their addiction because they don't recognize the escalating problem. Parents, spotting this in your teen is your superpower. Look for signs like defensiveness when you bring up screen time or excuses like, well, everyone does it. Recognizing self-deception is the first step to helping them peel off that filter and begin to see things clearly and realistically. Let's make this more relatable with some real to life examples of self deception in action. And these aren't just about pornography, they show how it sneaks into everyday teen life, making it easier to understand the bigger picture. Self deception is like your teen's brain turning into a personalized TikTok algorithm, serving up exactly the lies they want to hear to avoid discomfort. So, example number one, call it the glow up mirage. Your teen scrolls their favorite For You page, bombarded by flawless influencers with seemingly perfect lives, six-pack abs, luxury vacation, endless confidence, and they tell themselves, well, if I just look like them or live like that, I'll be happy. But as we all know, most of that staged, filters, edits, sponsorships, it's a fake pursuit. Tie this into porn, they might think, well, watching will boost their self-image or provide that glow up feeling, but it typically leaves them feeling emptier, more insecure. And in my therapy practice, I've had teens admit that what started as inspiration turned into a comparison trap, fueling more viewing to numb that feeling of inadequacy. Next example, the clutch procrastination move. It's Sunday night and that big history project is due tomorrow on Monday. And they say, well, I work better under pressure, and they dive into gaming or social media instead. Boom, all of a sudden it's midnight, it's 1 a.m., it's 2 a.m., and this is where the panic starts to set in and they're scrambling. Well, that same vibe with porn, I'll just watch for a quick stress relief, but then hours vanish. Suddenly they're exhausted, they're irritable, and ditching real responsibilities or friends. One parent shared with me how their son used this excuse for everything, including his late night porn habits, until it affected his sports performance. Example three, the one more episode lie. So binging in Netflix or YouTube, just one more and then I'll sleep. And then next thing they know, it's dawn and they're a walking zombie at school. So with porn, it's one more video, chasing that elusive high while life glitches out. Self-deception keeps them clicking and ignoring the mounting toll. And just one final example to expand on this, the secret superpower delusion. Teens might think, well, this makes me more creative or relaxed, rationalizing porn as a positive tool. But studies show that it often leads to desensitization, needing more extreme content for the same effect, which heightens anxiety over time. All four of these scenarios highlight how self-deception isn't isolated to just pornography addiction. It is a brain habit that amplifies in high-stakes areas where dopamine reinforces the lies. And the stakes are higher because it can impact brain development, relationships, and self-worth. 2020 study in Psychology Today noted that teens aware of these patterns in daily life are 40% more likely to address them in addiction context. So now let's get into the core mechanics here, which we in treatment in the Breaking Free workbook in our programs, therapy associate star guides, what we refer to as teen thinking errors or the cognitive distortions. These are the twisted thinking patterns that embody self-deception, very common in pornography addiction, and based on psychological frameworks like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. They're backed by research from places like the Journal of Behavioral Addictions. So I'll go through them one by one with a bit more detail than usual, including how they specifically apply to teens and porn. So number one, the all or nothing thinking, or seeing things in black and white. So it looks like this. Well, if I can't quit cold turkey, then why bother? And this kills motivation for gradual progress. So the way to approach it, encourage small wins instead. Number two, overgeneralization. One slip up means eternal failure. So I relapse once, so I'm always going to be an addict. And this kind of thinking creates hopelessness. And the remedy, remind them one day doesn't define them. Number three, mental filtering. So this would be zeroing in on the pleasure while ignoring the negatives. So they focus on the high, forgetting the guilt or the wasted time. Number 4, discounting the positive. So this would be downplaying any benefits of change. So it's the kind of thinking where, quitting won't improve my life much. Even as focus and relationship end up getting better as they do. So number 5, jumping to conclusions. So be assuming the worst without evidence. So example, well, everyone knows my secret, or, well, I'll never succeed in stopping. So these are assumptions. Number 6, magnification or minimization. So this would be blowing up porn benefits like stress relief while shrinking or minimizing the harms, like the emotional numbness that comes from it. Number 7, emotional reasoning. The example would be, well, I feel horny or stressed, so I must need this. And remedy here, remind them that feelings aren't facts and to teach them to question the urges. Number 8, should statements. So example, well, I should handle this alone, which then ends up leading to isolation and shame. So challenging any should statements. Number 9, labeling. So in other words, I'm a pervert or I'm a failure. And this ends up tanking self-esteem. And you're going to want to reframe this as, I'm someone who is working on improvement, focusing on the positives and the strengths. Number 10, personalization, taking undue blame. So example would be, well, my family's problems are because of my habit. Number 11, blaming or shifting fault. So in other words, school stress made me do it, which would be avoiding the personal accountability that's needed to get into recovery. Number 12, rationalization. Well, everyone watches it, so it's normal. And of course, this normalizes harm and counter that with facts on the addiction risks. Number 13, entitlement. Well, I deserve this after a hard day. And of course, we know that it turns porn into a false reward. Number 14, catastrophizing. That concept of, well, stopping will make me miserable forever, amplifying fear. And remedy here, instead, focus on the short-term gains. And then finally, number 15, denial. Well, it's not an addiction, it's just a phase. And of course, that line of thinking prevents help seeking. So as a 2022 Journal of Behavioral Addiction study found, teens with these distortions are 45% more likely to relapse. So in sessions and in the workbook, we help teens identify which ones resonate most, and maybe start by asking your teen to pick one that they recognize. And to expand, let's touch on how these link to teen brain development. So the prefrontal cortex, responsible for impulse control. So we know it isn't fully mature until the mid-20s, is what research is indicating, and which makes these distortions even more potent in the teen years. And the good news is neuroplasticity, though, means that they can rewire this thinking with practice. But we've has to be aware that this is something that is occurring. So the first step would be to recognize the awareness of the use of thinking errors. So along those lines, how is it that we combat this? I want to give you 5 evidence-based strategies with some extra tips to make them actionable for a longer discussion. So number 1 is this: pause and reflect. When an urge hits, teach them to stop and ask, well, what lie am I telling myself? And a 2023 Psychology Today article says that this reduces impulsivity by 30%. And if you, on top of that, add just a simple breathing exercise of inhaling for 4, a 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a hold for 4, 2, 3, 4, and then an exhale again for 4, is a great combination there. So number 2, challenge the distortion, help them spot the lie and counter it with evidence. For the example, for the it's not hurting anyone, list the impacts. Like a huge one for so many is the lost sleep, the fatigue, the brain fog. 2022 Journal of Cognitive Therapy study shows that simply spotting the lie and countering it with evidence helps to improve recovery by 35%. And use the Breaking Free workbook. There's a great, in fact, one of the 10 concepts has a number of exercises and worksheets that help to work on challenging the distortions. Number 3 would be journaling. Writing thoughts before and after viewing to help spot patterns. Study in 2021 linked journaling to a 25% reduction in relapse rates, and suggesting prompts like, what emotion triggered this, or what truth am I ignoring by continuing this? Number 4 would be to seek accountability, sharing their efforts with a trusted adult, friend, a counselor, a clergy member, a therapist. A 2024 study noted a 40% better adherence to recovery plans when there's accountability. So start small, maybe a weekly check-in with you as a parent or with a therapist or with a trusted adult. Then finally, number 5, replace lies with truth. So swap the negative self-talk. There's that concept of, well, I'm capable of change, instead of, well, I always fail. I just keep making the same mistake over and over. It's changing that out, starting to believe that I'm capable of change. In a 2023 addictive behavior study found positive affirmations cut cravings by 20%. So, and then just one final idea here, a bonus strategy would be to incorporate mindfulness apps or therapy sessions focused on CBT, that cognitive behavioral therapy, and model it yourself. So share a time maybe where you overcame self-deception in your own life, and do it in a non-judgmental way. Parents, your role is key. Foster safe talks, ask open questions. Well, what's one thought that keeps pulling you back? And listen actively without fixing immediately. Just listen and reflect. So wrapping up, self-deception is the glue holding pornography addiction together, but it's breakable. And by spotting those lies, like just once, or, well, I'm in control, you are empowering your teen for true freedom. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. 2023 addictive behavior study shows teens confronting self-deception half cravings in months, thanks to that concept of neuroplasticity. So start today. Have that chat. What's one lie about this habit? So, and again, parents, grab our resources, grab the Recovery Toolbox for Teens at the website, in the bookstore, and check out the resources page at the therapyassociates.net website as well. So subscribe here, subscribe to our YouTube channel for similar videos, and love to get your feedback. So feel free to email or comment. Let me know what's one way that you'll help your teen this week. And together, we can help them drop the filter and embrace authenticity. Parents, thanks for being with me today. I know your time is valuable. I hope you found something helpful. I'm Matt Bulkley, and I will see you next time.